The television series called Roots was viewed by millions. Later on, it was rerun and viewed by more millions. It traced the origin of one black family, or their roots, back for a couple hundred years or so into Africa. Now the Jews know their roots. It's traced through the Bible, all the way back to the very first created man, Adam, and their mother, Eve. Also, the Arabs know that almost every Arab knows he is descended from Ishmael, and Ishmael was a son of Abraham, mentioned in the Bible, and through that they have their roots all the way back to the first created man, Adam. Also, the Turkish people are generally known to be descended from Esau. They have their roots in Esau, and Esau is mentioned in the Bible, and you have his genealogy all the way back to the first created man, Adam. But where are our roots? Where are the roots of the American people, the Canadians, the English, and the people of northwestern Europe, even of Germany? Why is our identity lost?
The World Tomorrow. The Worldwide Church of God presents Herbert W. Armstrong, internationally recognized ambassador for world peace, visiting prominent leaders around the globe, discussing the cause of world problems, and proclaiming the good news of the world tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, Herbert W. Armstrong.
Why is it we do not know where we are? Our identity is lost, while other people can trace their ancestry and their roots all the way back. Well, I'm going to give you the answer. Because our roots can be traced, and we can come to know who we are, and I'm prepared to reveal that truth to you. Now, the Jews are pretty well recognized for who they are because of their recognition and continued recognition of the seventh-day Sabbath. It's known in so many quarters even as the Jewish Sabbath. Did you know that the first place in all of the Bible where the word Jews is mentioned is in the Bible in 2 Kings 16, verses 5 and 6. That's 2 Kings 16, verses 5 and 6. If you go back to some of the roots of Israel, and the first place where the name Jew is mentioned is in this particular scripture. I'll quote it. Then Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, the king of Israel, came to Jerusalem to war, and they besieged Ahaz, who was the king in Jerusalem, but they could not overcome him. At that time, Rezin, the king of Syria, now allied with Israel, recovered Elath to Syria and drave the Jews from Elath. Now there's the first place the Jews are mentioned, and they're at war with the ally of Israel. Israel is there allied with Syria. And Israel's ally drove the Jews from Elath. And the Syrians came to Elath and dwelt there unto this day, as you read in 2 Kings 16:6. The first place where Jews are mentioned, they were at war against Israel. Now, can you imagine that? The Jews at war against Israel. Why, doesn't everybody think that the Jews are Israel? But the truth is, they are not. The Jews are not Israel at all. And it's time we get some of these identities straightened out. After King Solomon of Israel died, his son Rehoboam came to the throne. Solomon had taxed the people very greatly. As a matter of fact, he had overtaxed them. And he was living in greater and more gorgeous splendor than any king ever had. The people of Israel sent their representative to King Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, who now was the king, and they said to him, "If you will lighten our taxes and not put this burden on us like your father Solomon did, we will serve you. But if you do not, and if you're going to continue to tax us, we are going to reject you as our king. You will not be our king any longer." Rehoboam consulted the old men, and they advised him to give in and bring down the taxes. Then he consulted the young men, and they said, "Oh, tell them where to go to." And so he said to them, "My father laid the taxes on you, but I'm going to make it a whole lot worse. I'm going to lay heavier taxes on you." And then Israel rejected him as king. And they took the man who had been, well, today we would call him the prime minister under Solomon. His name was Jeroboam. And they made him the king. And they set up the capital in Samaria, the city of Samaria, north of Jerusalem, some several miles north of Jerusalem. And they rejected Rehoboam as king. At that time, the tribe of Judah seceded from Israel and became the kingdom of Judah. They took a new name. They became known as the kingdom of Judah. Now the tribe of Benjamin went with them, because they were located, adjoining them in territory anyway. And the first thing that the new king Jeroboam did was to change the seventh month festivals of Israel, which was the Feast of Tabernacles, to the 8th month. And also he changed the 7th day of the week, or the Sabbath day, from the 7th day to the 8th day, which was Sunday, or the first day of the week, the beginning of another week. And so a great division was made. Now, the next thing that King Jeroboam did was to put away all of the Levites, who were the priestly tribe. They were the better educated people. They were the most highly educated, the most affluent people in Israel, but he put them away because he was afraid they would lead the people back to King Rehoboam, and Jeroboam would lose out on his throne. And so the tribe of Levi joined with Judah also, and the three tribes of Judah, Benjamin and Levi, became known as the kingdom of Judah. They were not Israel. They were now the kingdom of Judah. Now for the time of 19 different kings and 7 dynasties, the kings of Israel continued to rebel against their God, the Creator. And finally, God had warned them that he would drive them out, and finally he did. And now we trace the history of what happened in 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, beginning with verse 5. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went to Samaria, Israel's capital and Israel's land. The whole land was called Samaria by that time, and besieged it 3 years. That's from 721 to 718 BC. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Israel, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel, no, not the Jews, carried Israel away into Assyria and placed them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Bozrah.